Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Genshin reaction. I'm in my big fluffy coat because it's cold down here because we're going through that Midwest blizzard in the US and there's like a foot of snow. So yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Anyway, we have Liyue, I believe is how it's said. This song I haven't listened to yet. It's one that was left on the last Genshin video where I asked people to leave stuff because there's not enough individual requests for Genshin songs. And I was like, sure. Let's go. That's the whole reason we're here. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. Why does that sound like Binks no Sake? It's a little too close. I'm not the only one hearing that, am I? I can't be. Woo. Brought it right up the melody line there. Woo. Ooh, that was fun. It's just bringing it up, you know? That was a lot of movement to follow that. It's nice having that triplet in there to end it off. Help it slow back down, but keep it fresh enough to not get boring. I like that. Ooh, okay, we're going back. Ooh. Ooh, we got a backbeat. All right. Hey. That is a really crusty hi-hat. Has a lot of texture on that. That's gotta be one of the driest hi-hats I think I've ever heard. That thing must be insanely thin. Fits the song really well, though. This is so calming, this part. Bringing it up multiple times. Not bringing it down yet. Ooh, okay. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. That reminded me of a completely different song. It was very similar there. This has something else to it. I'm gonna have to talk a lot about this one. Gotta love the flute trills. Ooh, lower flute trill. Ooh, big one. I love that, hitting that on the open hi-hat, kind of giving it a choke. A little extra spice on the beat. This one is definitely, this is doing something to me. But like I said, we'll talk about it. I'm smiling like an idiot. Woo. big swell at the end. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna have to explain myself. All right, so this is probably gonna sound stupid, but the boo doo 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 boo doo doo doo, that part is, if not exactly the same notes, very, very similar. Maybe a major version of Reunion from Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, a DreamWorks movie that was made in the early 2000s. Beautiful animation. Great work. James Baxter, mwah. It's one of my animation favorites of all time. And the soundtrack by Bryan Adams and Hans Zimmer, amazing, amazing combination of people. Somehow, it doesn't feel like it would work. It does. Hans Zimmer did an amazing job in the songs that he wrote, and Reunion is one of those. It has this nostalgic flavor to it that really just, it makes your tears start flowing real easy. And while the song didn't obviously make me cry, it definitely brought me back to sitting in my living room watching that movie and just being stunned by what was on screen. At a young age, I've always loved animation. I've always been interested in it, but I didn't realize the soundtrack really sank that deep until now. So this is a very interesting song now for multiple reasons, that just being like the main core memory buster, but there's a lot of other things in this song that are absolutely gorgeous that I want to talk about. The composition of this song alone is really interesting to me because it has so much of that like nostalgic emotions sitting on top of it, and not just from my own nostalgia. It is written like that. It's supposed to invoke that sound. It plays around with those notes that everybody associates with being kind of nostalgic, usually in the E major area. And right off the bat, the song starts by playing something that's very light and frivolous and like, hey, welcome back, like, we're your friends. It just right away starts giving that information to you. And as it starts to build and gets more emotional and adds more emotional instruments on top of it, like strings, instead of just having it be a simple like traditional stringed instrument plucking away or a lighthearted flute, you add the more Western instruments that are associated with emotions, like your violins and what have you, and the bass of the brass underneath it all, just adding that much more weight to every single part of the song, especially later in when it really builds up. You get this really nice swell from beginning to end of, hey, welcome back. Remember this, remember your hometown, remember your family and your friends that live here, to, yeah, I remember. And why did I leave? And it's gotta be the intent of this song, is to invoke that mentality. Exactly. Thank you for being here as a kid. It was a fun time. I wish I could go back. That's the two movements of this song, and they swell in and out of that. They kind of go on this roller coaster of, do I miss it? Do I really feel this way about this place? Man, these familiar locations. You're walking down a street that like looks familiar, and then you walk down one that doesn't. It's probably changed a little bit, and then you come back to like the market square, and you're like, wow. I'm really digressing into that, but you get the point I'm trying to say for sure. As per usual, it's hard for me to say if that's actually the intent because I don't play Genshin and therefore I don't know the story behind the locations, but just based on what this song is trying to do musically, I've got to be close. Whether that's you as a player who came from this location, or it's a place you've been to before in the story and you are returning to it, or somebody you're with is returning to it in that way, or alternatively, you remember something very familiar like this, and now you're remembering it, and it's bringing you through those emotional roller coaster moments that you would be having, remembering the good and bad times. It could be either one. There are also like little sound design things that they threw in here that are to trick the mind, like the high flute trills kind of just dancing at the top, and even the low ones are meant to, traditionally at least, mimic birds more commonly than not. So you kind of have this, it's a new morning, like a new adventure, time to wake up and experience a new part of your life. All of these things play to that nostalgia that I know this song is trying to imbue you with. It's just really cool hearing all these different factors in here. Even the very last part of this song where it was like really building up and it hit its full max amplitude and everything was happening, and then just that big explosive energy at the end that keeps you hooked. Musically, it frames it like you're running across an open field, your arms wide open, and you're just accepting all of those emotions that you just felt in all of the passage prior. This song is really cool. It is one of the best examples of how to frame nostalgia in a song I have heard. And I've heard a lot of those, and some of them are brilliant. I literally did a whole video on why the song Spring's Pulse from Arknights did something similar to me, and I explained why it did that to me. So I think while it's kind of cheating that I do have a song of my childhood that I can directly correlate to the sound that this song has, I think that that just helps create that emotional tension in myself. Anybody could have anything that sounds kind of like this, but at the end of the day, the song is very triumphant overall. It's very okay with you confronting this sort of emotion. It doesn't make you feel bad about it. It just makes you yearn to actually like process that emotion you're feeling. And that's what I think is the coolest thing about this song's writing. The composition says it's okay to experience that feeling instead of just making you feel that feeling, which I think is superb from a writing standpoint. It's not just telling you, it's explaining why. But I'm pretty sure I've yapped about this song. This is probably in top 5 easy, if not top 3 of my Genshin songs now. I love this one for all of the reasons. This one is one of the best written pieces I've heard to date, and I'm really glad that somebody requested it. So please, if you have a song from Genshin that you really like, let me know what it is. If I haven't done a video on it, I want to. This is why. This is why I ask. Songs like this hit everybody a little different, and I would have never known that this song existed without somebody having that same kind of connection, you know? Please, let me know down below. And aside from that, if you want to follow me and support me and all that, you know how to do that, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!